Hi, this is Ken Lake with MAC's Technical Market Update for Friday, July 7th. The theme throughout the session tonight is simply going to be pretty much the same, and that's the fact that we're currently experiencing the typical 4th of July, first part of July weather-related market on the heels of USDA's crop report last Friday that gave us some help in soybeans, didn't help corn at all. And we also had wheat on a rally and even before last Friday's report, so there's some follow through there. So we ended the week higher in all these grains, but for the most part the charts all look pretty similar. If we start with SEP corn, you're going to notice that we're making an attempt to get back to the 399 recent high that we had traded back in the 1st of February. Tonight's close or tonight's trade as high as 397. We've been there a couple of times this past session. The market's very overbought, but the theme of momentum indicators at this point is the fact that we can stay in overbought territory, especially in a mini bull market for quite some time. So we won't pay a lot of attention to the momentum indicators here because they're all overbought at this point. We're looking for this 399 to be tested first of the week. If we can come in here on Monday with a proper kind of forecast, we'll probably blow through that. If we do, then 420 becomes a target for this old crop corn. Now, we're not friendly corn at all, simply because we seeded a few more acres than we expected, and supplies are good. So there's no need to be bullish corn, but nevertheless, we won't stand in the way of the funds if they are trying to get long some corn in here. Same way with D's corn. This 409 hit a couple of times in the past couple of weeks. This near-term resistance right now. But for customers who have already sold December corn a couple of times, we're still going to target the contract high of 420. If we break through those numbers, it'll start looking on a weekly chart, and we'll be able to add quite a bit of upside potential if we can break those numbers or that 420 mark, either in the D's corn or the SEP corn. So, but we're going to have to wait until we see that happen before we can get any friendlier on corn. I'm going to skip August soybeans, go right to November because that's where the action is going to be. Funds getting long November beans. If you can go get the CFTC report tonight, look at commitment of traders and see where the managed money is, but I'm sure it's on the long side of soybeans and wheat. 10.15 traded tonight. 10.35 is the old contract high, and that's our target at this point. See if we blow through that once again. If we blow through that, then we'll start looking at the weekly chart, and we can see here that once we get to that point, then there's a $12 mark comes into play here, and that's the old high we set in May of a year ago. That may just be a place where this thing is going at that point. But just be careful not get too bullish here, because all you're going to hear is bullish talk for a few days until this thing collapses. So make sure you're getting your coverage as we go higher. We've planted, even though the soybean seedings were not as big as we expected, it's still 3.2 million acres more. It's going to be a massive soybean crop if we have the right kind of weather in August at all. So you have to take coverage on these soybeans. We'll be a little more friendly wheat. I'm going to pop the September contract up here, talk about that by itself. Once again, the same sort of scenario plays here. This 590 contract high in a SEP is now our target. We've had 3 days lower here, and usually 3 days of a lower close or 3 days of a higher close signals a short-term trend change, and unfortunately that trend change should be a little lower as we go into next week, and momentum indicator did give us a sell signal down here. Another thing to watch at this point is that this 493, which is the old high that we were measuring from, now becomes the new low or new support. Would think that that's long-term support value here at 493 with a short-term upside target of about 590. So a dollar range in this wheat until we can blow through that. And if we blow through the 590, then once again, we'll start switching to weekly views to see where we go from there. And of course, we'll measure from we can measure from 585, we can measure from 650, we can measure from 750, we can raise from 950. So there's many upside targets in wheat that comes into play, but we won't be able to worry about that unless we break through 590 in the nearby contract.